I think the only people who feel good about the country right now are the Labor Party and its activists, because they are vastly relieved at having won an election that they should have lost. But you're right, economically we're in decline, socially we're more divided than we've been for years, and strategically we're in dire peril, but we're largely oblivious to it, and we're certainly not doing anything to recover from it. Both sides comprehensively failed in this election to analyse our national difficulties and propose feasible or even intellectually serious ways forward. None of us wanted to look at the consistent trend of overspending. None of us wanted to look at the reasons behind the productivity fall. While there was some debate about energy, no one wanted to look at the whole question of net zero and was it worth it. No one wanted to really look at the horror of a renewables rollout, which is devastating so much of our countryside. I mean, the idea that we should destroy so much of the planet in order supposedly to save the planet, I mean, it's bizarre, but nevertheless, that's the reality, as so many of your farming communities understand, John. So we weren't prepared to consider immigration. Sure, we love migrants. We are an immigrant country. That's part of what it means to be an Australian. But this idea that we can just endlessly ratchet up immigration, that anyone from anywhere at any time is somehow always going to be of benefit to our country. There was, I suppose, a political and ultimately an intellectual cowardice behind the whole thing. And as I said, we let ourselves down, we let the country down, and this all results in ongoing long-term damage.
I want to come back to immigration in a little while, because it's very, very important. But before we do, I just want to stay a bit high level for a moment. It is my profound view that leaders lead. They carve out ground in the areas that are seen to be important.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, I love history, and I'm sixth generation Australian, so I've been here a long time, and my family has been enmeshed with the country for a long time. So I just make that point because I'm passionate about what we've achieved. We've made our mistakes, but we've achieved a great deal.
Yeah.
Now, our forebears set up a federal government for the main purpose being what? The security and safety of the Australian people.
Correct.
I would argue that the three greatest responsibilities of the Commonwealth government, the three greatest, all of them needing urgent attention, all of them more important than little debates about whether we should move this way or that way on the political spectrum or have quotas here or whatever. It's about the issues. If you take defence, plainly we're back in the era of major power instability that our forebears faced when we were a young nation, and they stepped up to it at the time, secured the homeland during the First World War. We wouldn't have sent troops off to Anzac if they hadn't been able to secure our homeland. We couldn't secure our homeland today. No way, militarily. But you add to that justice. Always important. If you want social harmony, you have to have justice. One illustration of the gross injustice we're engaging in at the moment is the intergenerational theft.
Correct.
We've set up an environment, a policy environment, which we didn't debate, whereby we can't live within our means, so we're borrowing from our children unborn as well as born, and what's more, we're having fewer of them. So the tax burden that the few children we're having will face will be grossly unfair. That's not good for social harmony. It's not good for the future of your nation. Your third responsibility is to run an economy that allows you to keep the people safe and living within their means. Those three broad headline issues, it was as though they didn't exist. And the minor debates about how we shuffle here, and it was this, it was that, it was whatever, ignore the reality that this isn't a left versus right, in my view, progressive versus conservative. Yeah. This is what really now has to be addressed if Australia is to be a free and prosperous country in the future. It's as serious as that, isn't it?
Look, you're absolutely right, John. I mean, we need a plan for a stronger economy. we need a plan for a more cohesive society, and we need a plan for greater security. And we haven't got any of that.